Okay, so let's start the class and let me run the project first of all. In the last class, what we are discussing about how to display the pages in the Django project. Okay, so let me run this particular project. So now if I go back to the my particular pages folder, so you can see here in the index.html, I have created some particular HTML content, and you can see here in this particular curly braces, I have passed some particular name here, name, number, and email. And these informations are coming from where? It is coming from the views.py file. Okay, so we have two files are there. We have this particular index.html file and we have this particular views.py file. Okay, if I go back to the structure of also in the last class, you can see this particular structure. So what we have done, we are sending the data from where? From the views to the HTML, and from the HTML we are displaying in the front end part. This is the things we have done in the last class. Now what I wanted to do, okay, I wanted to receive the data, reverse process I wanted to do. Okay, so whatever we have done in the last class, I wanted to do the reverse process. So let me just open the paint first of all, and let's understand the structure, what I wanted to do. Okay, so just assume this is your particular front end part. Okay, and just assume in this you have created some particular form. Okay, some form is created here, and now user is filling some particular data here. Okay, and now what I wanted to do, I wanted to receive this particular data. Okay, so this is my UI part, nothing but the front end part or client part. So here I wanted to receive the data from where? From here to where? From the HTML area. Sorry, not HTML area, from Python file area, .py file. Nothing but where? It is in the app. And now this app is connected where? Actually, this is the one part of your particular project only. Okay. So this is the thing what I wanted to do. But if I wanted to create this particular front end area, how this front end area is going to be developed? This is going to be developed by using of what? Using of the HTML file. Okay. So first of all, what we need to do? We need to create the .html files, right? So here, okay, let me just draw properly. So first we have one particular HTML file area. So this is my .html. So here I'm going to write some particular code. Okay, and using this particular code, what I wanted to do, I wanted to display one particular front end part, nothing but the client side area. Okay, so this information is going to send from here to here, and here we are getting some particular form area. Okay, and here we are going to fill some particular form. Okay, and now from this, after filling the form, what I wanted to do next step, this particular data, okay, this particular data I wanted to receive where? Again to the my particular .py files, .py files, and this .py files are saved where? In the app. In the app these files are saved here. Now from this app, what I wanted to do, again I wanted to write some particular code. I wanted to write some particular code, and I wanted to generate some particular result. Again I wanted to send this particular data. I wanted to send this particular data to where, again to the next step I wanted to increase, and I wanted to send this particular data. Okay, I wanted to send the data to the one more particular .html file. I wanted to send the data to the one more .html file, and from this particular .html file, what I wanted to do, again I wanted to send the data to the again one more particular UI. This data should be sent to the one more particular UI. So this is the plan what I wanted to do in this particular class. Okay. So what are the steps are there? First, we are going to write something in the HTML. We are going to display those content in the front end part. So this is my UI area. This is my UI or front end or client side area. Concept is clear what we wanted to do. So here we are going to write something in the HTML file. This is going to be displayed into the UI, and we are going to accept the data. Okay, so here we are going to receive the data or get the data. We're going to get the data into the Python files, and again what we are doing here, we are doing some particular operations or any particular type of calculations, whatever the things we are going to do, okay, with the data. Okay, and once we done some particular operation with data, we are going to send again this particular data to the HTML particular file. Okay, again also we are going to write some particular code here. Again this data again sending to where we're displaying this particular data as a result here. Again some particular result are going to be generated here. Clear this point? Structure is clear. So these are the things what we wanted to perform. Okay, so here I'm going to save this. Here is our folder. Okay, so here we are going to receive the data from UI to backend and backend to again UI. Okay, so these things I wanted to perform. So for that purpose, so here you can see to receive the data from the first file. Okay, this is the structure. Let me just open the file which we have just now created. So now you can see here, this is my file number 1 and this is my file number 2. Okay, so this is the file number 1, this is the file number 2. So here you can see in the structure, this is my file number 1. So we need one more particular .html file. So here I'm going to create one more particular file. Let's give this name as a result.html. So now I have the two files are there. Okay, this is my, let me just add some particular heading for understanding purpose. So this is my result page. Okay, so now we have two files are there. This is the file number 1 and this is my file number 2. Okay, and .py file, anyhow we have the .py file also. So three files are there perfectly. Okay, now this is for output purpose, this is the output area. Okay, where we are checking the output here. Okay, now first of all, in the file number 1, I'm going to write some particular code. Let me just write here one HR tag just for understanding purpose. Okay, so from this area we're going to write the new code. Okay, so after this I'm going to write the new code. So let me create one particular form here. Okay, and I wanted to perform one particular simple operation. I wanted to receive two numbers and I wanted to generate the addition of two number result into the next page. So here I'm going to write one addition of two number, and here I wanted to create one particular form, and this form is going to receive the input type equals to number, And for name, I wanted to give something n1. ID is not required because I'm not working as of now in JavaScript command. And here number 1 and number 2. For uh, I'm going to add the placeholder for references. Let's write enter number 1, and I'm going to add one more placeholder here, number 2 here. Okay, if I refresh, we're getting enter number 1, enter number 2 here. And for submit button, I need here one more input type equals to submit and value equals to, I'll write add. Okay, and now if I refresh, now you can see here, if I just zoom this, we're getting this particular enter number 1, enter number 2, and if I click on the addition, it should perform some particular operations here. So if I click on add, it should go to where, it should go to this particular second page and display the result. So first let's complete that particular part. If I click on the button, it should go to the second page. So for that purpose, like how we have created the function to get the index.html page. Similarly, I wanted to create one more particular function for the which page, for the result page. How can I able to create the function? You can create the def keyword. You can give any particular name here. Let's give this name as a result. Okay, let it be in the small abcd result. And same thing, if any particular request is coming to this particular result, what it should do, as of now I'm not writing big code, just I'm writing return and render this particular page. Request goes to this particular page. Which page? Result dot html page. Okay, to map this particular page, we need to go to the urls.py file, and here how you have pass the home function. Similarly, you have to pass the which particular function, you have to pass the result function. And same thing, you have to create one path. So first page we don't need to give any name, but from the second page you have to give the path, that is result. Okay, and next here you have to give the function name, that is the result. So this is your path name. For example, if you write here, okay, if you write here 3. Okay, now if I save this and if I just call it here, if I call it here 3, so what will happen? Result page is coming. Okay, if I write here, if I write something ntr here, okay, if I save this and if I write here something ntr, okay, ntr, okay, so now what will happen? Result page is coming. Now if I write here 3, okay, so now it will write page not found. Is it clear? So this is your path name. Okay, this is your path name.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let me give the particular path name as a same particular name, because I don't want it to make any confusion. Mostly we give the same names only for a better particular readability, because if I give the different names, what will happen? It will create a confusion. So that's why when you create a name of the page, make sure like it will be same thing will be there. That's why I'm giving the same name of the function, same particular name is there, path also same is there, so it will be create a better readability. If we give the different names, what will happen? Lots of name will be created, and it was very difficult for us to understand like what is the purpose of this name and this name. It will create a lots of confusion for us. Now what I need to do here now, I need to receive the data, to receiving the data from here to here. Okay. Here what we need to do, we need to add the two particular attributes. The one attribute is action, like what action, if I do any particular action with this particular form, it will send this particular it will send this particular operations or any particular functionality to which function. So here I wanted to do operation with the result function. So that's why I'm going to write the function name. So here you have to give the function name. So here I'm giving the function name as a result. And then, okay, by default, you can give method. By default, it will be a get method. If you are not writing also, by default, it will take the get method. So as of now, I'm mentioning the get method. Now what I wanted to do, if any particular information is coming from this particular index.html, if someone is entering any particular, okay, so here, if someone is entering any particular data, something like 12, something 12, and click on the add, now it is going to the result page. And here I wanted to display the particular data also, so result also related to that particular page. So for that purpose, I need to receive this particular data. So how to receive this particular data? So here, okay, you have to give the different name. So let me give n1 and n2. So this name will work as a temporary variables here. Okay, if you remember in the when we using the HTML forms, we have given the gender equals to some name here. So name is just used to hold this particular data and then send the data to the any particular in the backend part. Okay, or else you can use for the JavaScript files also, and you can use for the backend purposes also. So as of now, I wanted to send this particular data n1 data and n2 data to where to the views.py file. But how to receive this particular data? So here you need to create the variables to receive and store the data. A equals to something, let's take B equals to something, and I'm going to write C equals to A plus B. Now when I'm receiving this particular data, so here I need to mention request is coming through the which method? Get method. And what are the names are there? Names are the n1. Similarly, I need to mention here second one as a n2 here, n1 and n2 here. Now these requests are coming here. Now what I wanted to do, I wanted to send the data to the result.html. So for that purpose, what I need to do, I need to create the dictionary. So let's write something data to as a dictionary, and in this I need to pass key as a, and what I wanted to store, I wanted to store the a variable. I wanted to create a one more key as a b. I wanted to store the b variable. I wanted to create one add as a key, and this I wanted to store the c variable. And then I wanted to send this dictionary to my data to here. And now I wanted to check in the result.html whether I'm receiving this particular data or not. So if I just write here, okay, let me just write one HR line. So just for displaying, okay. So here I wanted to write all the particular data, and let's write here, okay, the a value, a value is a, okay. And let's use some br tag. B value is this, okay. And here I wanted to write addition of a and b is, okay, that is add. So here we need to mention the key name. Okay, so here key name a, b, and add is there, and these a, b, c are the variables. Variables are sent to keys, and keys are sending to the HTML areas. Okay, now if I go back here, if I refresh just, okay, so now if I wanted to add some particular numbers here, let me enter some particular numbers. Okay, so here I'm going to enter some numbers like for example 12 and 13, and if I click on the add, so what is happening here? A value is 12, b value is 13, and we are getting the 12 13. Is the correct result? No. What is happening here? Here concatenation is happening. What are things are happening? Concatenation, right? Why? Because by default, if you go to this particular, and here if you check
Spring
what,
Data.
yes, okay, if I write here print, if I write here print and check the type of any particular variable, okay, if I save this and if I go back to the page and just refresh and enter some particular data and click on it, and if I go back to my terminal, how the data is coming in the string format, because by default, okay, this is a Python is a dynamically typed programming language, and whenever you receive any data from the user input, okay, for testing purpose in Python, what we have done, we are using the input functions, but in the real time these data are coming from the front end part, maybe coming from the admin panel, maybe coming from the databases, maybe coming from any API sources, it may be anywhere. If data is coming by default, it will be in the string format. Now what we have to do, we have, if it is a number, if it is required to do any particular numerical type of calculations, then we have to convert as a integer using the typecasting function. So what I need to do here, I need to convert this as a what? Integer, right? I wanted to convert this as a integer. This one also I need to convert this as a integer. Okay, now once I save this, and now if I go back and refresh, and if I type something here, 13 plus something 12, and now you can see here we are getting the exact output here. Got it?
Yes,
Now
yes.
you can observe one thing when I'm filling any particular values here. Now you can see here n1 equals something, n2 equals to something. Okay, now if I just refresh and entering some particular values, okay, and if I click on add, these values are sending to the URL. where it is sending? It is sending to the URL. So why it is sending to the URL? Because you are using the, what type of method? You are using the method to receive the data, that is the get method. Get method. So whenever if any particular data, so in the HTTP protocols, there are different types of methods are there. Get method is there, post method is there, update method is there. Okay, there are different methods are there. So whenever you're receiving any particular data through the form, you have to make sure you should use the post method instead of using the get method. Get method is just used to retrieve the data in the front end part. We don't use the get method. Okay, most of the particular entry level developer, what they'll do, they're going to use the get method. So if you use the get method, what will happen? It will send the data to where? To the particular browsers. Okay, it will send the data to your particular URL path areas. So if any particular data is sensitive data, which is not going to be shared, which is not going to be disclosed. Okay, so for those particular data, okay, we cannot use in the get method. Means any data which we don't wanted to share, which we don't wanted to display, there is a sensitive data. Okay, if for example someone is logging, someone is wanted to sign up, someone is entering some password, if any particular data is there, okay, which is coming from the any particular front end APIs or any particular platform, we don't want it to share directly to the browsers, to the URL path area. So for that part, we have to make sure we are using the which method? Post method here. Okay, and now if I save this and if I go to the views.py file, again here I need to change this as a post. Here also we need to change as a post. Okay, later you can go through this particular documentation also. I have shared already PDF. Now you can see we have the get is there and we have the post is there. Okay, so now you can see whenever you're receiving the data from the template or HTML files to the backend or views to, we use some particular method. So these can be used as a get or post method. Okay, so basically if I using the get and post particular request, we have to understand and we have to carefully handle this particular forms here. So if we use the get method, so what will happen? This data is going to be displayed. Okay, so you can see the get method bundles submitted data into a string and appends it to the URL. So the get method is used for the data retrieval. Okay, if I wanted to receive any particular data, then only I'm going to use the get method. Okay, you can see it is commonly used for the fetching the data, not it is used to sending the data. Okay, so here parameters are visible in the URL, so making it suitable for the simple queries. Queries means what? For example, you can see here whatever the results we are getting, these are called queries. For example, if I write here something, if I open the Google and here I'm going to type something, let's type here best restaurant in Hyderabad. So this is become one query. Q equals to something, right? So this is become one query. Okay. So then what will happen here? So this particular queries you can use as a get, but you cannot use as a post here. So something, okay. Sometimes we have to use get and post depend upon the requirements. So if anything you wanted to research something and you wanted to display, those things are can be used as a get. But if something you are receiving as a data, which is specifically related to the forms or API, something related things, then compulsory it should be used as a post. Now you can see the post method send the data to the server. Means you are receiving the data and saving the data and sending the data to the server. As of now we are storing everything here, but in the upcoming classes we are going to use the databases also. Okay, to send the data. So you can see here. Uh, the method that delivers data to the server, think of it as your data courier. It is used to action that modify the system state, such as saving the data to the databases. Okay. In the upcoming classes, we are going to save those things. Parameters are not visible in the URL. So if I use the post method, that data is become the sensitive data and is not going to be visible in the URL. Like how what is happening here? If I'm entering any particular data, you can see 12 and 22 is displaying in there. So if I use the post method, it is not going to be displayed. Okay, and you can see here, for instance, when submitting a form, the data is sent via post here. And in Django, post requests are suitable for creating the data, updating the data, deleting the data, etc., etc. Okay, so for these are the purposes are there. And now you can see here one more thing. If I just save all the particular files, okay, here also I've used the post, here also I've used the post method. Now if I save this and if I go back to the particular page, okay, if I refresh, And now if I send this 12 something value something 33, and if I click on the add, now you can see here we are getting one particular error. So what is this particular error? This error is saying CSRF verification is failed. Why? Reason giving for failure. CSRF token is missing. What is this token? Now you can see here. In general, this can be occur when there is a genuine cross-site request forward. Means you are sending some particular request from one area to the another area. So when Django CSRF mechanism has not been used correctly, so it is saying like, okay, there is a one particular method is there which is related to the Django CSRF concept, and this particular concept you have not used. Why? You can see here for post forms you need to ensure. So it is saying like maybe you're going to use a post form related, you are working with the forms and you're using the post method, and now you can see your browser is accepting the cookies. So whatever you are entering something, whatever you are researching something, your browser is going to read all the things, okay, if it is in the incognito mode also. Okay, so now the view function is passes a request to the templates as a render method. So then if something is rendering, okay, if something is data is passing, okay, so then what we have to do in the template section, nothing but the template section means the HTML file sections, you have to mention one command, that is the bracket open, bracket close, percentage open, percentage close. In this, in between that you have to mention the CSRF token. So this command is a middleware. So what is a middleware? Middlewares are nothing but the securities. So whenever you're using any particular form related work, make sure that is in the post method. And whenever you use the post method, mention the CSRF token. So then it will create one particular security to your particular form. And this is built in available in that particular Django. So there are many particular built-in middlewares are available in the Django to make sure your particular application must be secure. Okay, so what we need to do, just we need to copy this particular command, and where you need to mention when we are starting the form. So where we are starting the form, from this particular you can see here line number 24 we are starting. So before that, here you have to mention the CSRF token. That's it. Once you save this and go back to your particular file and just refresh now, and now if you enter any particular data 12 for something 34, and now you can see you're getting the result. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what we have done now, let me just explain once again. We have written something in the HTML, and that is displaying in the UI front end part. And from the front end part, okay, we are entering some particular data, and then the data is sending to that particular .py file, and then again this particular data is sending to one particular HTML file. Again, we are displaying some particular result. Okay, so these are the things we have done. Now, in the next class, okay, so that's it for today. In the next class, what we are going to do, we are going to display one page information to the another particular pages. Just assume, okay, we have, let's take an example, you are creating some menu. So menu will be available in all the pages. So do I need to create the menu for all the pages? No, it is not required. Okay, so whenever I wanted to send any particular HTML file data to another particular HTML file, okay, so I don't need to write the same particular code. That code is going to be displayed from that particular file, and if I am doing any particular changes to that particular file, it is automatically is going to be reflect to the other particular files where I have connected these particular files. Okay, so in the next class we are going to understand how we can send how we can connect one particular file data with the another particular file. Okay, and if time permit, we'll go with the some other particular concepts also. Clear these things? Any doubt, any questions?
No, sir.